Hello guys, welcome back. This is the start of a new season. This is episode 40. I'm the Custard Prophet, and this is this is there and back again, the Journeyman save. And this is our second club, Orebro. We've been here for 40 episodes. At Gottney we were there for sort of 22 episodes, so we've stuck around at clubs, but I promised you this season we were going to have a cracking transfer window and we were going to win the league. I think that's what I promised you, didn't I? It's probably a bad thing to do. Anyway, just to make things easy, as you can see, we start out the season against AIK. Easy stuff. But obviously we've gone through pre-season. The transfer window, it probably could have gone better. I think it's been okay. The brief for this transfer window is very different to all the rest of the transfer windows that I've done. So if you remember, last transfer window, we bought in the likes of Bilankulu and the guy on the right wing. It looked like we bought in some great talent, although we lost talent as well. But this time, that created an issue. We had too many non-Swedish players. You need 9 within the matchday squad. They don't all have to be playing, but 9 players who were trained in Sweden under the age of 21. They need to have been here 3 years or something like that under the age of 21. So we had brought a lot of players from Africa, and they were all amazing. But what that did mean is that we ended up having a bench that was full of youngsters, full of really not players who were nowhere near the same level. So the brief was this time was to bring in players of Swedish heritage who could contribute more and allow us to not be so restricted in terms of the teams that we were putting out. And I think to some degree I've achieved that. It's not quite right, but we have kind of achieved that. I just want to we'll have a look through the transfers because there's quite a lot to get through in this episode. So released players, as you can see, there's a lot of transfers. Released players, there's no one really of note who's gone out. Fabien Robert was a Frenchman. He played 1 or 2 times at right back. Klaas Kroner was a goalkeeper. I think I mentioned him in the past. And I think Marcus Tillman was a striker who did come on a couple of times, a youth player who was never going to make it. So we'll have a look what we've done. First of all, let's look at the outs. There's going to be some strange ones in there, some surprises in there, and some that you think, yeah, that's probably about right. So first out, Philippe Larsson. He was a youngster. I didn't really feel he had the technicals to ever make it. I mean, he didn't have much else to ever make it. He was a left-sided player. I always find it difficult to pick out what a very good left and right back looks like on this game. They don't necessarily look quite as outstanding as some of the other players, or obviously outstanding, but I don't think he had some pace, a little bit of pace, but there was nothing there that made me think, we got to keep him. Decisions were okay, but then he was Swedish. So maybe a little surprise, Gustav Norlan. He's gone. He was always a solid player, and he's gone to Elfsborg, and I think that's a good place for him to be. But you can see the last 2 years he didn't really get any games, and he wasn't happy about that, and so it's fair enough that he's moved on. Now the next transfer out was a little bit one I had to really think about. So Hans Pind, our defensive midfielder extraordinaire, the player who replaced Jeff Fisher, the guy we got in from AIK, he has left for 1.7 million, going up to 1.9 million, depending on how he does there. Now there was a lot of good things going on here, really a lot of good things, but he was not outstanding. Really, he was good but not outstanding, and he is Danish, so he's not Swedish, obviously, because they're different countries. Physically he was very good. He had some pace in there, but I felt 1.7 million pound for a player like this. He's good, but he's not outstanding. I thought, well, we could use that elsewhere. It seemed a sensible move. I didn't have anyone at the time planned to bring in, so I have to find somebody, and we didn't really have anyone ready-made in the squad, so it was a bit of a risk. I think in the end it turned out okay, but yeah, it was a bit of a risk. This lad, the Brazilian, he just never made it. Our scouts seemed to rate him. He's got some things going for him. He's fairly fast, but I just couldn't get on with him. I could not get on with him at all. He was just a pain, and I don't know what it was about him, because you know, stats wise, he's got a bit of pace. He can cross the ball. He could have done a job on that left side, perhaps. Maybe we should have played him a little bit more, but he was just a frustrating. I think a balanced personality, my arse. He was imbalanced. Now the next one you would maybe surprised about, Opara, our first choice goalkeeper from last season, who still looks very good. I think he's got a lot of what you'd want a goalkeeper to look like. Low eccentricity, low punching, but then high everything else in his goalkeeping stats. Some pretty good mental stats. Composure, there's always a bit of an issue with him, but I was happy with him, and he's gone back to Sunshine Stars. Now there's a story behind this, and we'll go into that when we go into the ins. And our Dane Christoph Isaacson, who I think is going to be really good, Danish striker. He is only 20 years old. He's going to have another season away. He's gone to Kristiansund in the Norwegian Premier League. He did all right with Ostersunds last season, but yeah, see what he does with another season's development. So ins. So some interesting, some bizarre, some I think brilliant. Nothing absolutely massive coming in, as you can see. Some, I think, fairly decent chunks of money. Bottom of the pile there, Asamoah. I'm going to give him another go, because attributes wise, he is by far the best player that we can play up top. He is much better than everyone else. So we just need to find a way to make it work. We know he can, and he did brilliantly at the start of last season. So hopefully, with a slightly different set of players around him, we can make this work. So I'm happy to get him back. I did leave that very, very late, until I came to the conclusion that we just needed somebody else there. So not Swedish, but he's good. So we did bring in a decent Swedish striker, someone who can go on the bench and who would come on and would not be a complete flop. So he's come from the lower leagues in Sweden. No, he hasn't. Lied. He went to Norway from Sweden. He did pretty well in Norway in the first division. Struggled a little bit in the division above, but maybe that's just because the team around him weren't good enough. But I think he's okay. I think he's, look at those, 7.2, 7.11, decent quality player to bring off the bench, and that's all we're going to have. So this lad here was the guy I bought in to replace Hans Pind on loan from Midtjylland. It looks very similar, I think. Not as good across the board, but I mean, he's got really, really good composure. Importantly, he can tackle. He's got good marking, and in that sort of deep lying, it's not going to play him as a deep line player, sort of defensive midfielder role. He's got a lot of these things that you might want him to have. So we'll probably retrain him into something more defensive there. But I think he's quite good. But he's not our first choice there, which is important. Now this lad is. This is the reason Opara has left. So this is our new goalkeeper, and I think he is really looks really good. And most importantly, this was the key. He's young and he's Swedish, and we didn't have to pay millions for him. Positioning 16, reflexes 17, handling 15, aerial reach 15, jumping reach 60. I mean, they're pretty much the same thing, aren't they? Agility 14. So anticipation is high, decision making is high. So you look at that, and that to me looks like a good goalkeeper, and he is a giant of a man. So I'm absolutely thrilled with that pickup. We bought him from Helsingborg. He's done really well there. I mean, they're going to struggle, I think. Who have they bought in to replace him is the interesting. So they've got this lad, Mr. Peter Peterson, who looks okay. Yeah, he's their backup from last time. So they haven't actually bought anyone in to replace him by the looks of it, which is going to be a bit of a not great. So I wonder what's going to come out of that. Yeah, so I'll show you this. Yeah, we'll go just down the list. So this lad here is an option up front, young Italian player. He's got pace. He can finish. He looks pretty damn good. Around and about, he's got a decent penalty on him, which is nice because we don't have many of them. But I think he looks a pretty good all-round advanced forward, and we play that position, so it made sense to get him in. We're not paying a huge amount of money for him, so it makes sense. Well, I mean, for Asamoah, we're paying nothing. This guy, we're just paying 2.6 k per week, which is on the higher end of the pay scale, but I think he'll be an important player. So this lad is an young Italian. We got him from Far Rabat, of course, for £15,000. Now this is a steal. Look at this youngster, 19-year-old Italian, and he looks the business at 19. He really does. He's not quite up to Bilankulu's level. I mean, could he replace him in the long run? Could he sort of battle with him and both of them sort of move forward and actually sort of, you know, come out of this better as a result? Could you play two of them together? I don't know, but I'm happy with that pickup. Balde is this. No one was happy with this pickup. I think he's 20 years old. He's a 1.5 star player. He's 1.5 star at the minute. Potential 3.5 star. I don't think he's that bad. I think mentally and physically he's got a lot of things going for him. I think we could improve. We certainly need to improve some things in his technical stats, but I took a punt on him, really. I need a left back. He was quite cheap, and we're going to give him a chance at this level when we need him, basically. But we'll see if we can develop him into something a little bit better. But I think he could. Let me know what you guys think. I was hopeful about that more than anything else. And then finally, Gustafsson. Now, this guy is going to be our defensive midfielder. 27-year-old Swede. He sort of popped up, and I thought, wow, yeah, we'll have some of that. We'll have some of that at the price that we're paying. Again, he's got everything you want, but he's got pace, so he looks a lot more like Pinned than the player we have, Buddy Swedish. So that, to me, is really exciting. So that's the players we bought in. A lot of players, and now we'll have a little look at how we've done in pre-season. It's been a bit of a rocky pre-season. I didn't come back for the Swedish Cup, but we did qualify from a fairly tricky group. Beat Sirius 3-0, and goals from Ledoux, Bengwe and Alstrand. Beat Norby 1-0, a late penalty from El Omari, the Italian player. And then this game was a little bit more complicated. We had an injury to I can't remember. I thought we had an injury to a key player, didn't we, at this point? No, I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, anyway, we played fairly well in this, but I made some sort of changes towards the end to be a bit more defensive, and they scored right at the end. Didn't matter because we qualified from the group ahead of AIK, so it was pretty good. And then we were a bit ravaged with injury for this one, certainly at the back. You can see we played Ledoux at right back, we had Brawson and Anderson in the middle, and Jonsson at left back. We were a little bit suspect at the back, and that's why we ended up losing the game. And then we played a couple more friendlies, lost there. So we're playing AIK today, and this is the game you guys are going to see. So apologies, this episode is a little bit longer. There was a lot to get through there. This is what the team's going to look like today. So we're going to have Asamoah up top, Bilankulu and Bengwe as the more attacking midfielders, with Samare and Linear behind them. Yeah, we're going to have Gustafsson as a ball-winning midfielder in there, with Linear on the left side. Calais, Ledoux, Anderson, Huge in goal, and Stromfeld at the back. So what we got? 1, 2, 3 debuts in there, but the rest of the team looks pretty good. On the bench, we've got Sorensen, El Omari, and Pettersson. So you look at the bench and look outside the bench, it looks really strong beyond that as well. And lots of Swedes in there. Chino doesn't quite make it in at this point, but he'll get some games. Right then, guys, let's see what we can do here. Hit that auto number. And let's get in there. Let's get in there and hopefully do something against AIK. We couldn't pick a harder game, I don't think, really. Well, you could, nor coping or something like that. But AIK is a real test away from home with a bunch of players who aren't quite sure of each other yet. And we haven't quite got this right yet. So Gustafsson and Asamoah are new into the squad. So they haven't played a competitive game yet. So we'll see how we do against a decent AIK side. I mean, it'd be amazing if Asamoah starts playing football again. Mbengwe, early chance, and it's just over the bar there from, was that Asamoah's header? It's going to be a tight one, I think. I don't think it's going to be a huge amount between these two sides, apart from that goal. And AIK, dear me. I mean, the defence we haven't touched, and they just left Stenshagen absolutely free. We'll just have a look at that. Branholm, ball in, and he just runs off his man. Yeah, it's Linier who lets him go. Not the ideal start. Really not the ideal start from us. As you see, Duj Gordens are really doing well here against BK Häcken. Oh, somehow that didn't go in. Chance after chance after chance, and we managed not to put it in the back of the net there. We're going to go a little bit more. We'll go positive. Oh dear, that should have been a goal. We need a little bit more in the second half. We're creating chances. We're playing okay. Certainly, we're away against AIK. We've created one really good chance and not managed to put it in the back of the net. Another corner, though. There's a lot of chances coming from corners. Mbengwe, though, into Belankulu. Nice ball in. Oh, it's Asamoah. Oh, that was so easy. Oh, no. You should have scored there, mate. You should have scored there. Mbengwe's got the ball back, though. Mbengwe running through. Oh, straight into the goalkeeper. We're creating chances. We're playing well here. Get creative, guys. Inspired that. We're really putting the pressure on. Come on, guys. We've got this. We're going to get back into it. Samare. Lovely ball out wide. Huge. Oh, they're coming through there. I thought we had a chance there. It's Magni. Running free. And it's in. Done on the break. Done on the break. I'm not so jolly about that. Oh, so frustrating. So frustrating. We played well. And what a way to start the season, to go 1-0 down, 2-0 down. Samare, go out wide. Hughes has been brilliant, and Matt. These two are just great. I'd love to get Asamoah. Oh, he's missed another one. Oh, come on, mate! You so many chances missed. You were putting those away last season. Well, for a period last season. Oh, unlucky. What was that? Oh, well, I don't know. We'll make some changes at this point. Frustrated a little bit from that. El Umawi is going to come on. See if he can maybe have a slightly different relationship with... I don't know. He needs to be. We need to lead the line, don't we? We'll bring on Alstrand as the inverted winger. Oh, it's so frustrating when this happens. Hughes, I think broadly we've had a good game. It's been tight. We just need to get Asamoah scoring goals, because for his stats, his attributes, he should be putting those away. And I think it is just a matter of getting the confidence back. Hughes just loses the ball there. That's terrible. Terrible. He should have passed that. Stromfeld. But it's another chance. Hughes, 81 minutes in. It's in. It's onside. It's Ledoux with the goal. It's 2-1. Interestingly, Ledoux is the maiden name of my wife. She's French Canadian. So yeah, there's a bit of a factoid for you. It's the second time he's lost the ball, isn't it? And I wonder whether it's because he's a bit tired. Oh, I thought we were getting that. Oh, come on, no. Oh, that's terrible. Goalkeeper in the middle of nowhere there. Well, we're going to take off Hurge because he does look a bit knackered. And we'll bring on the Icelandic Jonsson. Gustafsson lost the ball. This is happening too often. Okay, have done us on the break, haven't they? He's just put it wide. I mean, they've had chances. They've played well, but it's because we're having to chase the game that we're losing it. Yeah, 3-1 loss away from home, but a good performance. But we're going to have to turn good performances into draws and wins at these big sides if we are going to win this league this season. So we are going to have to do better than that. My thoughts are we need to get Asamoah playing well. We'll just have a little look at him again. We keep having a look at him. It doesn't seem to help. So Old Lady plays. I wanted to look at the scout report. As you can see, he plays best as a deep line forward. Plays pretty well as an advanced forward. I mean, the things that he's good in the air. He's improved a lot over the last three months, which is great. I mean, so he's finding it hard to adapt into the core group. Maybe that's an issue. So how do we get around that? I have to think about that. Maybe that's the problem. We need to make him a little bit happier. I don't know why I'm looking at my mental coach anyway. Yeah, everyone's saying the same sort of things, aren't they? Yeah, well, not perfect, but performance not the same. So I think we'll come back. We'll move out a little bit. We'll probably come back. Oh, that's a new team. I don't think we've ever played them before. I think we'll come back for this one, Vasteras, because we've not played them. It'll give us a good idea of where we stand. We've got to play Norrköping as our next away game. There's a lot of teams in there that we should be doing okay against. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you are new. And I'll see you next time. Hopefully with some better news. Goodbye.